All right, let's plug in and turn up the volume on the live music scene of Long Island, New York. You know, it's a place that's given us absolute legends, from Billy Joel to Public Enemy. But the real question is, does its live scene have its own identity, or is it just playing backup for its massive neighbor, New York City?
For decades, yeah, Long Island has been this hotbed for incredible artists. But there's this nagging question that just always seems to hang in the air when you talk about its venues. Is it a real, self-sufficient, thriving scene, or does it just kind of exist in the shadow of the Big Apple?
You know, this comment from Reddit just gets right to the heart of the whole debate. The argument's pretty simple, right? With these huge music hubs like Bushwick just a train ride away, why would an original indie scene even bother to grow on the island? It's a really powerful point, and it kind of sets the stage for everything we're about to dig into.
Okay, but before we get into the whole underground thing, you just can't understand Long Island music without looking at the giants. I mean, these are the venues that put the entire region on the global music map.
15,000. That's how many seats are at the Northwell Health at Jones Beach Theater. And look, this isn't just a venue, it's a whole experience. We're talking about an iconic outdoor amphitheater right on the water. Seeing a summer concert there, that's basically a rite of passage.
The history here is just staggering. You've got the raw arena power of Nassau Coliseum. I mean, they've hosted practically every rock god you can imagine. And then you have the legendary My Father's Place, this tiny club that was the launchpad for superstars like Bruce Springsteen and the Police. These places aren't just buildings. They're literally chapters in music history.
And hey, this isn't just ancient history. If you look at the Best of Long Island awards from just the last decade, you see this pattern emerge. The huge outdoor Jones Beach Theater and the historic, but kind of more intimate, Paramount and Huntington. They've just dominated, trading that top spot back and forth year after year.
And even among these big-time icons, there's a lot of variety. The Paramount, it offers a different kind of big show. It's this beautifully restored theater from the 1920s that actually gets you closer to the action. Even Billy Joel himself called it the best club that's ever been on Long Island. I mean, that's some seriously high praise.
But look, the arenas and the historic theaters, that's just the first layer. To really find the island's pulse, we have to step away from those massive stages and walk into the local bars and pubs.
This comparison really highlights the two parallel universes of Long Island music. On one hand, you've got the massive once-a-summer event, and on the other, you have the Friday night local hangout. Both are absolutely vital, but they serve completely different purposes for the community. These places, these are the workhorses of the scene. Places like Mulcahy's, they've been doing this for over half a century. And you see this whole ecosystem here, right? From chains like Taproom and Village Idiot Pub providing consistent gigs, to really unique spots like the Theater at Westbury, where the circular stage means literally nobody has a bad seat.
This quote from the Bolton Center and Bay Shore, it really says it all. While the big arenas are selling you a spectacle, these smaller venues, they're selling intimacy. It's about being able to actually see the performers, not just hear them from a mile away. It's a totally different connection, and frankly, it's the bedrock of the local scene.
Okay, so we've got the icons, and we've got the local haunts. But what about that original underground scene? Let's circle back to that initial skepticism and see if there's a real answer. This feeling is just so common for young musicians on the island. It feels like, yeah, there's history, and sure, there are plenty of cover bands, but where do you go to play your own music? Where is the scene for the next generation?
Well, here's where it is. Places like Amityville Music Hall are basically ground zero for the punk, metal, and hardcore communities. They specifically create a space for younger fans. And then you have 89 North in Patchogue, which was literally founded because the owners were just so frustrated with the lack of a real original music scene.
These clubs are the counter-argument to that very first Reddit post we saw. They are the incubators. They prove that you don't have to go to Bushwick to find other artists or an audience that actually wants original music. They are deliberately and successfully building a scene right there.
So after looking at the stadiums, the bars, and the DIY clubs, what's the final call? Is Long Island just a suburb of the NYC scene?
So here it is. The verdict is, Long Island scene isn't just one thing. It's not a single entity at all. It's this complex, three-tiered ecosystem. Each level serves a totally different part of the community, from the tourists seeing a global superstar to the local high school punk band playing their very first gig.
And that is the key takeaway. The scene's strength isn't in trying to compete with Manhattan, it's in its diversity.
Seriously, where else can you find a tiny, laid-back bar like the Stephen Talkhouse that's hosted a Beatle, and then on the same night drive 20 minutes to see a hardcore show in a rented hall? That range, that is its identity.
The legacy of Long Island music, that's written in stone. But its future? That's being written every single night, in packed arenas, in cozy pubs, and in sweaty little DIY clubs. The real question isn't whether it has a scene, but who's going to be the next to break out of it.